Elect Joe Biden's inauguration. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. The government is set to seal the deal with Moderna with shots from the U.S. vaccine maker to arrive in May. Greg Gregorio joins us live from Mandaluyong for the details. Hi, Greg. Tell us the good news.
Sean, the government's negotiation with the COVID-19 vaccine manufacturer Moderna has been finalized. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. said a term sheet for this agreement will be signed either today or tomorrow. In a forum with local chief executives, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. said that negotiation with Moderna is already finished, while other pharmaceutical firms have also expressed interest to apply for an emergency use of its shots in the Philippines. To maximize the target procurement of 20 million doses from Moderna, the government will procure 8 million doses, while the remaining 12 million shots will be pooled by the private sector and local government units through a tripartite agreement. Moderna's COVID-19 vaccines, which has a 94.5% efficacy rate, may arrive in the Philippines by May. In the meantime, the company was advised to process their application for EUA with the Food and Drug Administration. FDA Director General Eric Domingo said Moderna has already communicated with them and asked for the requirements. Apart from Moderna, Domingo mentioned that the Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India have also expressed intent to apply for an EUA. Applications of UK's AstraZeneca and Russia's Gamaleya are now under evaluation, while Sinovac's application for emergency use remains pending as the Chinese firm has not yet submitted its Phase 3 clinical trial data. FDA has also approved Sinovac's application to conduct its clinical trials Phase 3 in the Philippines. Due to the reported deaths in Norway after being vaccinated with Pfizer shots, Philippines will change the conditions for its shots that might be used in the coming mass vaccination program. Sean, Domingo assured the public that the contraindications provided in the EUA of the Pfizer in the Philippines will be revised accordingly prior to the rollout of this vaccine in the country. Sean?
All right, thank you so much, Greg, for that update. The OCTA research group sees no signs of the COVID-19 infection rate plateauing after the post-holiday spike in cases. Research fellow Guido David tells the chiefs that the current infection rate in the country is at 1.2, while that of Metro Manila is at 1.1. He says we are now seeing the real case count after testing centers reopened after the holidays. David also said that the increase in the country's infection rate is not attributable to Metro Manila.
Hindi naman siya increasing masyado sa NCR, yung R0. It's medyo stable between 1.10 and 1. It was 1.15 just the other day. So it's stable naman, but it means it's increasing. Yung number of cases is increasing, albeit slowly. Pero sa other places in the Philippines, yun nga, the cases are increasing quite fast.
Malacanang has presented the number of vaccine doses that the country will procure from various foreign manufacturers. Spokesman Harry Roque says the government has already signed term sheets with Novavax, AstraZeneca, and Sinovac. Roque also noted that the supply from Pfizer is still being negotiated, but that the deal is expected to be finalized in the coming days. Meanwhile, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. says that the government will spend over 82 billion pesos for mass inoculation. According to Galvez, the country was able to save $700 million or around 33 billion pesos after negotiations with the manufacturers.
Nung ginawa po namin yung pitong aming nine-negotiate, we look at the tawag nating market price and also yung negotiated price. And then when we negotiated, nagkaroon kami ng tinatawag na halfway agreements at nakita namin na napakalaki ng na-save natin.
Here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Health Department reported more than 1,300 new COVID-19 cases on Tuesday. Of the 504,000 total confirmed cases, some 27,800 are still active. 69 people died of the virus overnight, pushing the death toll to almost 9,900. While total recoveries are now at 466,000, with around 300 new recoveries reported today. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines says that calls for transparency in vaccine procurement have legal basis. IBP President Domingo Cayosa says, under Article 2, Section 28 and Article 3, Section 7 of the Constitution, there should be transparency in policymaking and various government operations. He notes that compliance will dispel doubts on the government's mass inoculation campaign. Both chambers of Congress scrutinized the vaccination program in hearings since last week. And officials in Norway are considering the exclusion of the terminally ill from vaccination with Pfizer shots. Some nursing home residents aged 75 and up recently died after receiving the jabs. The Norwegian Medicines Agency is now recommending an evaluation of patients on whether or not the benefits of vaccination outweigh the risks of side effects. Pausing for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The UP community is denouncing the termination of the accord that bans police and military operations inside its campuses. But the Defense Department insists this is necessary to protect the youth. Marian Enriquez with the report.
Protect academic freedom. That's the call of students and faculty members of the University of the Philippines following the unilateral termination of the UP-DND Accord. Under the 1989 agreement, uniformed personnel are prohibited from entering and operating inside any of the UP campuses. They can only do so if they are able to notify the UP administration beforehand, except in cases of hot pursuit and similar occasions or emergency. But Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana claimed that there is an ongoing recruitment by the Communist Party of the Philippines in the campuses. Lorenzana insisted that the agreement was a hindrance in providing security, safety, and welfare for UP stakeholders. The National Police expressed support on the abrogation of the accord, saying that it has been limiting necessary police presence. PNP Chief Debode Sinas assured the public that their only intention is to protect the campuses from any criminal activities. Over in Malacanang, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said President Duterte supports the move of the Defense Department. But Roque noted the reconsideration of the accord must be between the UP and the DND.
Is moving for reconsideration, so dapat po mag-usap si President Concepcion at saka si Secretary Lorenzana.
UP President Danny Concepcion has already asked Lorenzana to reconsider the unilateral abrogation. Earlier today, Concepcion joined the protest which called on the DND and other agencies to maintain the UP as a sanctuary of peace.
Hindi nila maunawaan na ang accord na ito ang nagbibigay ng kalayaan sa ating mga estudyante at mga guro kung ang UP ay tatanggalan ng academic freedom sa anumang pamamaraan, ang UP ay mawawalan ng saysay ipaglaban ang academic freedom. Mabuhay ang mga scholar ng bayan! Maski hindi pa naman sila pumapasok, meron itong tinatawag na chilling effect. Siyempre, hindi magiging mahirap na merong silang pangamba na baka mayroong bigla na lang aaresto sa kanila or may makikialam.
Sociologist and UP Professor Jerry Lanuza also expressed his dismay on what he calls the government's creeping militarization.
Hindi naman NPA dito. Hindi kami nagtuturo ng NPA. Hindi naman kami nagre-recruit. Wala kaming mass recruitment dito. Sinasabi niyo mga estudyante, tahasan, no? Na halika kayo, sumama kayo dito, magpalista kayo. Ang tinuturo natin ay mag-isip, questionin ang lahat, huwag maniniwala na walang batayan, gumamit ng ebidensya, expose ang fake news. Dahil dyan, yung estudyante namumulat. At dahil doon, sumasama sila sa mga organizations.
Kabataan Party List meanwhile stressed on the role of academic institutions in upholding human rights and democracy.
That this is an assault on our academic freedom at nakita natin kung ganong hindi lang walang sense of history, no, kundi wala talagang pagkilala doon sa napakahalagang tagumpay ng mga estudyante, ng mga kabataan na nag-iit na dapat protektado ang kalayaan sa payapang asemblea, dapat protektado at nagagarantiyahan ang kalayaang akademiko sa loob ng mga pamantasan.
For Vice President Lenny Robredo, the government's move to terminate the accord is designed to sow fear and silence criticism. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
To help us understand the unilateral dissolution of the UP-DND Accord, One News's defense editor Manny Mogato joins us live. Good afternoon, Manny. First off, for those unfamiliar with this, what is this UP-DND Accord all about? Are military personnel really prohibited inside the state U campuses?
Hi, Sean. Actually, the military and the police, in 1989, when it was agreed between the Defense Department and the UP administration, there was no prohibition for our soldiers, for our policemen to go on operations inside the campus. But they must seek prior approval from the university administration. So they are not prevented. So I think the accord was necessary to protect academic freedom and independence of the university.
All right.
And I think the agreement was upon the request of the university after two of their staff members were arrested in connection with the murder of Colonel James Rowe, an American military officer at that time.
All right, so what does this unilateral abrogation of the accord really mean for the UP community? What changes will be most visible or most felt?
I think this is a signal for the military and the police to go on an open hunting season for what they say rebel recruitment inside the campus. There will be a chilling effect, especially on the students, the faculty, and the employees of the university. But some people say the agreement cannot be unilaterally abrogated or terminated by Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana because there was no exit clause. So there must be prior approval from both sides. So I don't know now what will happen to this agreement.
All right, while we wait for whether or not this can be disbanded unilaterally, would red tagging or the recent issues with red tagging really drive the DND's decision to terminate this accord? Is it really in the best interest of student security?
I think this is all part of the government's anti-insurgency campaign to pressure the CCP, NPA, NDF that they wanted to crush the rebellion before the end of the 30th term. So this is part of all the political, economic, diplomatic, and security operations the government is doing to end the insurgency.
All right, do you think it is a sound strategy for the government to undertake?
I don't know. Maybe not, because it may boomerang and it may alienate the people and the students more.
All right, we'll see what happens with this accord, whether or not it can be unilaterally, canceled by the DND. Thank you again for your insights and your time. Manny Mogato, One News's defense editor. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.